Hey guys, it's Max. We just got in the brand new Pixel 4a and today we're comparing it to the iPhone SE. And we're not only going to be comparing your typical things such as performance and giving you my honest first impressions of the device, but we're also going to compare things like the display quality and the brightness, speakers, and other things that most people don't cover. It's been a while since we've done a phone video, so hit that thumbs up button if you guys enjoy it and make sure to stay to the end where I'll let you know if you should buy one of these. Let's go ahead and get right into it. I'm going to open this up, and it's interesting that this year Google actually just kept it very simple. We no longer have a larger option. You just have one model, 6 gigs of RAM, 128 gigs of storage, which is actually quite nice for a phone that costs $350. So all right, getting it out here. I like that texture. It doesn't feel super high quality, but it's almost like a fake leather. It's not textured, but it has this little matte, slightly rubbery, but also plasticky feel. Not too bad. Let's peel that off there. Okay, that feels nice in the hand. It's very interesting. The iPhone definitely feels more premium. All glass, we have the aluminum on the sides. This feels like an expensive device, where this feels kind of cheap, but not sucky really. The buttons feel nice, really nice and clicky, and it feels lighter, even though if you guys look over here, it's actually slightly larger. Looks like it's about the same width, maybe slightly wider, slightly taller, but it does feel lighter as well. I had to get the previous Pixel 3a, this is the XL model, just to compare. It definitely feels cheaper this year than the previous year. I like this two-tone design. I kind of wish they stuck with that. Now this camera bump is updated. It's larger, just like a lot of newer cameras, even though it's a single one over here compared to the SE's smaller one. Both look fine. And one thing you guys might notice at the top here is that the Pixel 4a has a headphone jack, which is a plus in my book. Of course, our chargers are different, Lightning versus USB Type-C, and the Pixel does win out because it includes an 18-watt fast charger in the box. The iPhone supports it, but you're gonna have to spend another 30 to 40 bucks for the charger and the cable if you wanna have fast charging. That definitely is a bummer. Now, along with that, the battery in the Pixel 4a is close to twice as large as the one in the iPhone SE, but that doesn't mean you're gonna get double the battery life. In the real world, you'll probably get about 1 to 2 hours of extra screen on time, depending on what you're doing, but that is still fairly significant. Now, as we're setting up the Pixel 4a, let's talk about the displays. You guys can right away see a big difference. The iPhone is still using the iPhone 8 design. We have this large forehead, this large chin with our Touch ID sensor, whereas the Pixel 4a has a modern design. The screen fills up most of the front. We have this little cutout for the front-facing camera on the left-hand side. The Pixel definitely looks a lot better. Now, not only that, it's also using the OLED display instead of using an LCD, and instead of being slightly higher than 720p on the iPhone, this is actually slightly higher than 1080p. Now, before I compare the screen brightness, detail, and speakers, let me mention the fingerprint readers. As I showed you guys, we have one on the back, like with most Pixels, and I do prefer that instead of having Touch ID up front, just because that's exactly where my hands kind of lay. My finger is just right there when I pick it up. I don't have to shift down to touch. Let's go ahead and set this thing up and we'll do a little speed test. As you probably know, Touch ID is very fast. It works very well. But the Pixel 4 seems to be just as fast. As soon as I put my finger on the sensor, even if the screen's off, it opens up. Let's finish off our display comparison. As you guys can see, the Pixel 4a's display is larger. Everything on screen is a little bit larger, and I see more info at the bottom, which is nice. As far as the actual sharpness, from normal viewing distances, even though this has a lot more pixels, I can't really tell a difference. The text is sharp, everything looks nice on the screen. Only when I get about this close can I tell that the text is smoother on the Pixel 4a's. Now, one other thing that I noticed is that the display has less reflections than the iPhone display, and that is surprising. Typically, most Android phones have more reflection, so that is a plus, and on top of that, viewing angles are also better. The brightness stays better, the contrast stays better if you're looking off axis. And now let's test the maximum brightness of the displays. Both are set to manual right now, and on some of these lower end OLED displays, they can't get that bright. So here we have them. Both actually put out a decent output, but it looks like the iPhone is a little bit brighter. And now it's time for our speaker comparison. Make sure you get your best pair of headphones. So both phones have dual speakers, one up top and one down firing. Let's go ahead and start out with the Pixel. Go ahead and let me know your thoughts down in the comment section below. I'll give you guys my opinion because we are recording this with a mic, and even though it's a high quality one, this is going online. The iPhone SE did sound better. The highs were a lot more crisp. We had a little bit more bass, but it was quieter overall. The Pixel is louder. Not only that, the Pixel is also more balanced, which is something you probably can't hear with if you're listening through YouTube. The iPhone, this is an iPhone 8 design, so the bottom firing speaker is louder. It doesn't sound balanced, where the Pixel is balanced. And overall, if you guys see this clip over here, the Pixel is gonna give you a much better movie viewing experience. Look how much larger the screen is. We have an OLED display for better blacks. You just really can't compare. And now let's talk about performance. Unfortunately, Geekbench 5 won't even download on the Pixel 4a. Maybe it's just the operating system is too new or something like that. So we are gonna be using Antutu. Of course, the iPhone SE has the A13 Bionic processor, top of the line. It's gonna be more powerful, but let's just see how much more powerful is it. As you guys could tell with this graphics benchmark that we start out with, the iPhone is playing back perfectly smoothly, whereas the Pixel is choppy. The graphics chip is definitely weaker, and of course the screen is larger resolution. Now while this runs, let me talk about RAM. The Pixel 4a surprisingly has 6 gigabytes of RAM, which is great for the price, whereas the iPhone has 3, but it probably has better optimization. And then along with that, with storage, the iPhone has 64 gigs of storage compared to double 128 with the Pixel 4a, which is also really good. All right, our results are in, and overall, the iPhone SE is a little bit over 60% faster. Now let's take a look at the breakdown here. As far as the CPU score, it's actually not that huge of a difference, not as big of a difference as I expected. Now with graphics, you guys saw that difference when we were doing the graphics test. The iPhone SE's graphics are more than twice as powerful, which is a massive difference. I wish the graphics were faster on the Pixel 4, and it's using the Snapdragon 730 with the G version for gaming, but it's not very good. Now with that said, if you're a gamer, I wouldn't buy the iPhone SE. I would want to at least get the 11 for the larger, better screen. Now going down to memory, the iPhone's memory is also faster, even though it only has half the memory. And as far as the UI smoothness, it is also smoother as well. Now with that said, with my experience, when we're moving around, everything seems to be nice and fluid. I'm not getting any slowdowns or anything like that. And that's possibly CPU based, I'm not sure, but it doesn't feel like a slow device. Of course, the iPhone is nice and smooth, and it's gonna stay smooth for a very long time. And now let's talk about cameras. Both of these have a single 12 megapixel camera on the back, even though the camera bump is much larger on the Pixel. And then on the front, the Pixel has an 8 megapixel camera sensor compared to 7. Now I'm gonna take a couple of photos for you guys, and you guys take a look at the selfie right here. Let me know which one looks better. And then I also have this rear camera shot, and you guys let me know what you think. I have to say that I like how much wider the front-facing camera is on the Pixel 4a. That's a pretty big difference. That helps if you want to take selfies with other people. Now, as far as the rear photo, the Pixel 4a is actually a little bit more detailed if we punch in, which looks nice. Now, when we go to take a portrait shot, the Pixel actually crops in 2 times to give you a photo that is more similar to a telephoto lens compared to the iPhone, which stays really wide. As you guys can see, the difference is big. And with the iPhone, I can get up closer to take a portrait shot. But then, of course, we do get some distortion. It's more pleasing on the Pixel. And from that far distance, the iPhone actually wouldn't let me take a portrait shot. It wanted me to get closer. Now, the Pixel's portrait photo is more pleasing, but it is a bummer that we have to have that 2 times crop, because that means that for wider shots, it makes it impossible to get. Both of these can also take portrait shots with the front-facing camera, but the Pixel is the only one that could take portrait shots of objects. The iPhone will only let you take photos of people. Now, we're also gonna do a deep dive comparison as far as the photo quality. It's actually gonna be a blind one, where I'm gonna take the photos and maybe Vadim will look without knowing and give an unbiased opinion as to which one is better. But overall, the Pixel does seem to be more flexible with what it offers for photos, but we do have another story for video. Now, for front-facing video, both these are 1080p 30 frames per second maximum, but when we switch over to the rear cameras, the iPhone can actually do 4K at 60 frames per second instead of only 4K 30. So that definitely is a bummer. Now let's go ahead and test out the microphone quality. This is the front-facing video quality and the microphone quality of the iPhone SE. This is the front-facing video quality and the microphone quality on the Google Pixel 4a. Make sure you guys have those notifications enabled and you're subscribed so you guys don't miss out on our blind camera comparison. Those are always so much fun to do, to film. You guys really enjoy watching them, so you don't want to miss it. So we just compared a ton of things about these phones. Let me give you my honest opinion. If you're somebody that is not stuck in Apple's ecosystem, you don't have to have iOS, and if you're trying to decide between these, most likely you're not stuck, and you only keep your phone for say 1 to 2 years and you end up upgrading, I would go with the Pixel 4a. Not only is it $50 less expensive, it also comes with a fast charger, which is another $30 to $40 value, and along with that, you get double the RAM, which we're not sure how much that helps overall, how that compares, but you also get double the storage, which is really nice. You get a headphone jack, you get a nicer display, it's OLED, the speakers are louder, the camera quality might be better. That's just a lot of value for $350, and Google is making the right choice pricing it here and giving us all these features. Now, if you're somebody that keeps your phone long term, I'm talking about 3, 4, maybe even 5 years, I would go with the iPhone. Unfortunately, it is stuck with the old design, but it's a low price point to get into the Apple ecosystem, and you know that it's gonna have software updates for years and years to come, most likely 5 years or maybe more. It's gonna perform great and it's not gonna let you down. Of course, some of the stuff is older, but you know, that is what it is. Maybe spend some extra money on the iPhone 11, which is another great option. So there you guys have it. Let me know your thoughts down in the comment section below. Definitely make sure you subscribe so you guys can check out the upcoming comparisons we have with these phones and our review. If you guys have not yet picked up one of these awesome, comfortable, premium, Max Tech, modern Apple product shirts, I would go check it out. This one, especially the premium one, is really nice, and you guys can help support the channel. And we're not biased, even though we have the shirt on, right, video? We just said we'd get the Pixel. Whatever product is better is the one we're gonna recommend. So thank you guys for watching. This has been Max, and I will see you in the next video.